Hello again, you filthy animals. We're back with Song of Horror. If you haven't watched my first video, you should go do that. Though during the writing of this one, I realised I never actually talked about who made the game. The game comes to us courtesy of Razor and Protocol Games. The second episode takes place a short while after the first one, and takes us from the intimacy of a family home to a large apartment complex. Without further ado, this is Eerily Quiet. We begin where the first episode ended, with Daniel Neuer alone in a hospital bed. Well, maybe not entirely alone.
Where am I?
Well, it appears as though the Prince of Slumber will be granting us an audience. How are you feeling, Your Highness?
I had a dream. I'm okay. Thanks for coming, Lydia.
You had us all on tenterhooks. When I found you... My God, Daniel. I'm glad to see you awake.
Soph, I'm better. I'm fine. By the way, I found a note at the Husher house.
Daniel, the doctor said you need complete rest. Complete.
I'm fine, really. I found this. Apparently, Husher received a music box from an acquaintance of his, a certain Mr. Faber. It seems as though he was researching the music box when he vanished. And from what Faber says, the music box may be related to everything that has happened.
I'm not sure we should stick our nose into this business after everything that's occurred.
She may be right, Daniel. I'm sure the police are very close to finding out where Husher is.
Do you think the police would have found me? We need to find Husher. I saw the box that Faber describes in this letter, but it wasn't really there. It was as if it were on the other side of... I think we should pay a visit to this Faber and ask him about the music box and Husher. He has a shop in the city not far from here.
Daniel, please.
I'm fine, really. I think going to a shop and asking the owner a few questions falls within the range of what we can do, don't you?
In this episode, we have access to a potential 4 characters. 2 of them are new. Our first is Sophie, Etienne, and Alexander. If you completed episode 1 with any of them, their motivations carry over from the previous episode, to either help Daniel or to continue the search for Masha. Daniel is also a playable character for this episode, and the only one who is absolutely essential. Song of Horror is his story, and he has to make it to the end, no matter what. Daniel is here to find Isaac Faber, hoping he'll have answers in regards to the mysterious music box that haunted Daniel throughout his entrapment in the impossible room. The first of our 2 new characters is Erica Faber. Erica is a young woman in her mid-20s and the daughter of Isaac, and helps him in the running of his business. He is the antique expert of the 2, while Erica is more business-minded. In her initial exploration of the shop, she comments a few times about her desire to digitize the shop's books, and that to an outsider the shop's accounts and filings would be borderline impossible to figure out. Erica is a highly motivated go-getter, and travels the world finding new items of interest for the shop. On the night of October 1st, Erica returns from such a trip, to find the shop empty and her father missing. Our second character is Rene Artigas. He's a 37-year-old cop who emigrated to Europe from the Caribbean, in the hopes that he could realize his dream of finding an uncorrupt police force. Rene is seemingly an idealist, putting the role of a police officer on a pedestal, and finds himself disillusioned with both the police force of his home nation and adopted one. Despite this, or maybe because of it, Rene feels a duty to go above and beyond for his fellow citizens. He arrives at Faber's shop, presumably investigating several missing person reports, as the apartment building the shop is attached to has seemingly been abandoned, with dozens of residents missing. For the purpose of this episode, I'll be narrating from the point of view of Erica. It is the evening of October 1st, and Erica Faber has arrived home from a lengthy trip. The night is reasonably busy, and there's a downpour outside. The door to Faber's Antiques is locked, but luckily Isaac is quite predictable, and Erica finds the spare key under a plant pot. Erica enters the shop. 'What? 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 'What?
It's not like Dad to leave the lights on after closing up.
Faber's shop is quietly alive with subtle ambience. It's busy and cluttered, with old antiques that, while well maintained, are a little haphazardly placed in some cases. Of note is a coal tar machine, which can apparently predict your future for the right price. On the counter, Erica finds a list of products left out in the open. One of the lots has been highlighted: letters, old furnishings, and a music box, purchased from a Legrand-Ansburg auction. On the other side is written a note by Isaac. The note is erratic. Faber is obsessed with finding the aforementioned music box, and it seems his memory is failing him. He mentions leaving it in a lot with a blood-stained wardrobe that he's moved into the downstairs storage area of the building. Erica continues exploring the shop, looking for any potential clues to her father's location. Perhaps he just fell asleep somewhere. At the end of the right side of the room, Erica notices a bronze coin that has been placed into the helmet of a samurai. She retrieves it and decides to check the storage rooms. She heads down there and finds it locked. Heading back up, she explores the other side of the shop, which is again a disorganized mess. Erica grabs a coat hanger. No idea why that's there. Erica's guitar has been left in the middle of the store, as if it's for sale. In the room's closet, Erica finds a letter sent by Sebastian Husher to her father. The letter starts with the usual pleasantries and rapport between the two. However, it mentions the music box, presumably the same from the product list. Husher describes the box as of extraordinary quality, and perhaps being of 19th or 20th century origin. Erica continues her search. All of the mirrors in the shop have been smashed, including the one in the bathroom, where Erica finds a spray bottle. She grabs it. It shouldn't be left out in a place of business, really. Erica uses the spare key and enters a hallway. The door to her father's apartment is locked, so she decides to go to her own. She knew she has a spare key for him somewhere.
Where did everyone go?
In the courtyard, the rain is still hammering down. Nobody seems to be around. Not too surprising, it is the evening after all, although looking around it's clear the bins have not been put out for at least a week or two. Looking in one of the bins, a shine catches Erica's eye, and she finds a silver coin. The door to her flat is locked. She decides to go to the building's security to see what's going on. On her way, she sees an odd magnet, just sitting on the grate.
Dear Mum, clumsy. Well, I could get there from the store using the basement stairs.
Oh well, not like we need it. She enters a hallway with an elevator. Pressing the button, the thing speeds past, smashing into the floor. This building is clearly not fit for use. Further on, she finds a night shift report left on the side by a man named Walter. Erica has a history with Walter, accusing him of stalking her in the past. She shudders at the idea of having to ask for his help, but she doesn't have much of a choice. He'd have a key to the storage rooms, if not her father's building. The shift report was written nearly 2 months ago, on the 11th of August. And it actually mentions Isaac Faber. According to the report at 4:40 a.m., Isaac was seen walking through the courtyard, barefoot in his pajamas. Thank God, playing the music box. If Walter could hear it from his office, the entire apartment complex must have been woken up by it. What's weird about it is that Walter reports that Faber had his eyes closed throughout the entire ordeal, and Walter couldn't get a reaction out of him. Erica couldn't recall her father having a history of sleepwalking, but Walter is a creep, and could just be lying about Isaac as a way to get back at her. Moving on, she arrives at the security desk, and Walter isn't there. In fact, nobody is. Erica's not sure whether to be relieved or even more concerned by this, and it's then she noticed the guard's keys are just out in the open on the desk, just out of reach. She can't quite get to them with her arm or the coat hanger, and then she remembers the magnet. She heads to the stairwell via the shop.
What the hell? That door is reinforced with steel. I doubt I could hear anything on the other side.
Weird. The gallery room is soundproof, and can only be unlocked by a lever on the shop's desk, which is strangely missing at the moment, so Erica can't enter, but she can check the camera.
It's gone now. But how did it get in there in the first place?
Clearly there's something wrong with it. It seems to be glitching. Nobody should be in there. Continuing on, she retrieves the magnet from the bottom of the stairwell.
Here you are. Who?
That was an odd encounter, but at least it seems that at least one person is still lingering about in the apartment complex. Erica makes her way back to the security desk, entering the hallway.
Huh?
There, she is met by a strange monster that responds to the sound of any noise. She manages to control her nerves, and the being leaves of its own accord. She's not sure what to make of it. She needs to find her father as soon as possible.
Christ, what the hell was that thing? I must be hallucinating.
She combines the coat hanger and the magnet and uses it to retrieve the keys. She enters the office. All the cameras are out at the front desk. There she finds a day shift report filled out by Simon, and again her father's name comes up. According to Simon, her father was distressed. Simon confronted him about his sleepwalking the night before, and he had more questions for Simon than answers. At the back of the room is a picture of a scantily clad woman, clearly put there by Walter. Going through the door, Erica finds herself in a hallway, where a complaint she made against the man had been proudly displayed on a notice board. And in the next room she finds the crank for the shop's gallery, and in the next one, the security guard's bathroom, she finds one of her bras in the sink, by far the most disturbing evidence of Walter's fixation we found thus far.
Shit, what's going on?
She also finds a bottle of antiseptic. With key in hand, she goes back to the storage room doors, and this time is able to enter. Upon entering, Erica can hear a quiet whispering all around her, coming from everywhere and nowhere. The room on the right seems to be the source, but Erica's instincts scream at her to ignore it and not enter. The door to the storage place proper is locked. She recalls having spare keys to them in her apartment. If only she can get in there. She enters the third door, finding a wrench and a crumpled shift report. On the back is a note written to Walter, presumably by Simon. It seems that Walter tried to break into Erica's building with the intent on getting into her apartment. If the bra in the bathroom is anything to go by, he was likely successful. It seems the accepted narrative about Walter and Erica is that he's a nice, wholesome being and that she's been hysterical and crazy. Of course, between the note and the bra, Erica is clearly validated here, with even Walter's colleague Simon now suspecting the worst about him. She heads back upstairs. The whispering seems to follow her, causing Erica to panic as she re-enters the shop. Using the wrench, she unlocks her father's lockbox, which he put his door key inside for some reason. She grabs the wrench and continues on, using the crank to unlock the gallery room. Inside, there are items the shop refuses to sell, including the favourite items of her father and late mother. There's a number puzzle in there, Erica's number puzzle to be specific, though she's forgotten the combination. With the security key, she explores the storage rooms. In the first, she doesn't find much, only a giant mirror covered up. It radiates an ominous energy, and she elects to leave it alone. In the next room, she finds the second letter sent by Husher to her father. The letter is almost entirely about the music box. Apparently, Husher returned it to Isaac Faber after Sebastian and his family listened to its melody, in the hopes that the terrible effects he and they are experiencing will subside in the absence. Sebastian vows to keep researching the box in the interim. All of this is starting to sound insane, when Erica is suddenly assaulted by the darkness.
Oh shit, I've got to get out of here now!
She finds a table tied under, and puts her headphones on, the music helping to calm her nerves. The darkness subsides, and Erica leaves her hiding space, more determined now to find her father than ever. Entering his apartment hallway, she finds a tape recording.
I had another nightmare last night. I was lying in bed and I felt something staring at me from the corner of the bedroom. I knew that there was something there, something very real, but I didn't dare turn on the light because I didn't want to see whatever it was. I was afraid of going mad if I did. So, perhaps in a rush of panic, courage, or folly, I turned on the light bed and went to the bathroom to wash my face, attempting to lift away the heavy feeling of something pressing on my chest. Then I saw my reflection in the mirror. The face looking back at me was grotesque. It was deformed and changed color, and it was jolting about with despair. It was banging against the glass time and again, trying to warn me, or to escape the place it was in. It seemed as if it was screaming, but I couldn't hear anything. The scene was so horrific that, well, I woke up again. I was inside the bathroom, standing before the shattered mirror.
Isaac's tape explains all the smashed mirrors around the shop, and the covering of the large one. Erica heads up the stairs. On her father's front door is a note, written by Erica herself, that details the combination to the puzzle in the gallery room, in Roman numerals. Before she solves it, she decides to search his apartment to see if there's any signs of the man.
Christ, something's wrong. Dad, where in the world have you gone?
In his main hallway, his coats are hung and the mirror has been smashed. Strange talismans hang from the ceiling. Taking the right door, Erica goes to her father's bedroom. And inside, she finds an odd scene. Faber has seemingly set fire to his own bed at some point. On a table, we find an open Bible and whiskey. Erica notes her father was not a drinker, or particularly religious. Then she spots a Ouija board. It seems Isaac was desperately seeking answers from something. But if a Ouija board and whiskey is the answer, then what on earth could the question be? We find a second tape recorder.
Erica, I hope you are the one to find this, my daughter. I have had a few problems. Some sort of nightmares or visions. I don't know what to call them. I'm exhausted. I have a hard time falling asleep, and the doctor believes it's stress. But I suspect it's something else altogether. That blasted box. Sebastian, yes, you've got to find Husher. Sebastian Husher, the professor. My friend, or so he said. Find him and ask him how he did away with this. Ask him whether he also saw things. Ask him why he's abandoned me like this. Ask the black figure. Those who crawl do not want to see it. They crawl.
From listening to it, it's pretty clear that he's distressed, and potentially succumbing to delusion. We enter the photo room. Looking at the photos, we're confronted with ghastly images. Malnourished ghouls appear to be lingering in the shadows of Faber's home. These can't possibly be real. It seems that Isaac was mixing something at the back of the room. From the note we found on the counter when first entering the shop, it seems to be a compound capable of illuminating blood splatters. Erica realizes she has the missing ingredient in her apartment, but first she heads to her father's office. The door is locked though, so she tries listening in.
Dad? Are you in there?
Unable to enter, Erica decides to keep looking around.
Huh?
Oh wow, impromptu monkey bars. Oh dear, I'm getting demonetized, aren't I? Erica quickly leaves. Entering the living room, she finds it in a state of disarray. She turns off the luminous lamp and looks at the painting Isaac was examining. It's creepy as all hell. She takes the lamp's bulb and finds the third Husher letter. According to it, the key in overcoming the curse is to return the music box to whomever gave it to you, sort of like a reverse it follows rules. Except we've been to his home and know that whatever the box summoned clearly lingered in the house, and that through some strange methodology was able to manifest and lure Daniel into an impossible world. So what is Husher talking about here? Erica, of course, has no knowledge of this, though in Faber's previous recordings, it's clear he's developed a resentment to Husher. Heading into the kitchen, on the counter she finds food for a pet spider. She looks out the window and feels a desperate need to run away from here. But she can't leave without her father. She exits the apartment, fully intending on solving the puzzle and retrieving her spare keys, when the silence once again attacks. Erica manages to survive and solve the puzzle in the gallery, which gives us access to another puzzle. A puzzle inside of a puzzle. What is this, Rick and Morty? Erica solves that one as well and is able to retrieve her keys, with a cute Fulu keyring. Nice. She heads to her apartment building and ascends the stairs. The first floor window is open, leading to the shed. Erica climbs in, remembering seeing something in there through the window earlier.
Oh, I could have broken my legs.
Inside, she finds a flashlight and Walter's clothes. What happened to him? Why has he left his clothes here? She heads back to the stairs and into her apartment.
I don't remember leaving the lights on. Anyway, let's see how much of a mess the house was left in this time.
Home sweet home.
Yes.
She immediately finds a note left by Isaac, detailing a method to create the fluid she needs to find the bloody wardrobe in the storage rooms. Her bathroom is a mess, and a pile of clothes has been left on the floor. There are clothes all over the apartment that Erica has to search through to find a small silver key for the bathroom cabinet. Erica enters her hallway, and honestly, she has the coolest apartment ever. She's a big film and music buff, though mostly as legally distinct movie posters. Erica's bedroom is alive with the static of television and the dull ticking of a clock. On her bed is a note, if you can call it that, left by Isaac. The note makes a reference to the Presence's domination of the apartment complex. Where's Simon? Seems to indicate that the note was written after he was taken by the Presence. Faber's thoughts were erratic, but Erica keeps coming through. Isaac's mind oscillates from wanting her to get away from here, to showing her evidence of the Presence. He also says that there's something down the stairs, under the ground. Erica thinks, and can only imagine him meaning the storerooms. Erica finds the storeroom keys on a keyboard, and heads to the living room, where in a pile of clothes she's finally able to retrieve the silver key. Getting the final ingredient to make the solution in her father's apartment, she leaves and retrieves the golden coulter from her pet spider's enclosure. She returns to her father's apartment and finishes mixing the solution, and combines the fluorescent light with the belt torch she found in the shed earlier. Her only lead now is to find the bloody wardrobe in the storage rooms. Hopefully she'll find her answers, and her father. Before heading inside, she checks the opposite door. She can no longer hear ominous slithering noises coming from it. Entering, she finds the fourth and final coulter. Caching them all in the machine spits out points of wisdom, and upon the fourth, you acquire the coulter tooth. Erica heads into the storage rooms.
Okay. Let's see whether I'm able to follow the bloody trail.
She follows the blood trail until she hears a noise.
What the hell? Holy crap. Am I going completely insane?
She just about escapes the stumbling abomination. Doors with bloody handprints are able to be opened, as if marked by somebody who had braved the storage rooms previously. After a while, she finds the blood trail going under a door and heads inside, finding the wardrobe.
Yes. This is the wardrobe that Dad cleaned off in the courtyard. What's that tape doing here?
It's gone. The box isn't here. I've got it. I've had it all this hell is happening to me? I have to get to my office. I must wrap it and send it to its owners. LeGrant Amsberg. They're the ones who... My office. I'm going to... I hear them crawling all over and screaming. Erica, come to my office. We'll all be there.
The recording indicates that the mysterious box has somehow found itself back in Faber's hands without his knowledge, and it seems that he's going to follow Hush's example and send the box back to its original owners. From the way his voice distorts at the end, it would seem that Isaac isn't just going mad, but is rather being consumed and possessed by something, especially based off of his final line.
We'll all be there.
Whatever that is at the end of the recording, it taunts Erica and beckons her to a Faber's office. Erica leaves the room and follows the exit signs, still wary of the presence re-emerging.
Bloody hell. What just happened out there? Oh. Dad, I hope you're in the office and you're not... Dad.
With her father's final message in mind, she heads back to his office, and using her brand new crowbar, we're finally able to open the door and find what remains of Isaac Faber.
Let's see if I can open it with this. Oh no. No! Dad! Dad!
There was Faber. God. I don't even want to think about what must have happened in his final moments. I don't want to think about it, but somehow, very deep within me, I know the song was playing throughout his agony, stalking him to the very frontier between life and death. God. At least we had found the music box, and we knew where it came from. LeGrant Amsberg auction, it said, on the list of product lots, alongside an address. According to Husha, things had improved after returning the box to Faber. So by returning it to its owner, perhaps we might be able to solve all this. It sounded unlikely, but considering my hallucinations, the things we found at the antique shop, and Mr. Faber's terrible end, if it could all come to some good, we had to try it. Isolated far from the world, in a holiday manor that must be about 100 years old, the lady who owned the sinister box awaited us. For my little Ariadne read the engraving on the inside of the cover. Good. For her, then.
Do you think that someone could actually live in this place?
I don't know. The papers from the auction stated that the owner had sold most of her furniture, but that she still lived here. Miss LeGrant? Hello? This place gives me the creeps. Hello? Are you Miss LeGrant? Ariadne LeGrant?
Amsberg.
Pardon me?
LeGrant Amsberg. It's hyphenated.
Oh, well, my name is Daniel Neuer, and I work for a publishing firm. Through a series of chance occurrences, I found something I believe is yours. It seems crazy, but when you listen to it...
That's its box.
No, I think it belongs to you. On the cover, it says
I wasn't speaking to you. Thank you for bringing it back, Mr. Lawyer. Have you listened to it?
Yes.
He has listened to it.
Damn,
Just what I was thinking. Let's get out of this place.
absolutely. I'm glad we got rid of that thing.
Me too. I'm sorry it wasn't in time to...
I know. Thanks.
Come on. I'll take you to the shop.
So that was something. When it comes to the visuals of the game, Song of Horror makes use of tight framing. Despite the camera pretty much constantly moving along with the character, the camera shifts to always keep your character confined in a space. Even when walking through the outside courtyard, the world feels tight and claustrophobic, like you don't have a great range of motion within it. This framing is especially effective for playing as one character, Erica. The story of Erica is a unique experience compared to the others in this level. Throughout, we constantly encounter references to one of the building's guards, Walter, a man who has a peculiar fascination with Erica, even going as far as to stealing her bras and breaking into a building via the shed. There's a constant anxiety during Erica's exploration of the building, as you worry not just about the threat of the presence, but also what Walter might do should he find you alone and isolated. Being hunted by a seemingly unstoppable force with vague intentions is something she's unfortunately forced to endure regularly. Though it should be said, the way the camera moves with the player, not allowing us too much freedom outside of its deliberate framing, can take the punch out of certain moments. For example, when you have a darkness event and are forced to hide in a wardrobe or under a table, fear becomes frustration when your character keeps catching themselves in cluttered environments because you can't quite see where you're going. Episode 2 moves the story from an intimate family home, a staple of the horror genre, to an apartment building, something that in my opinion has only ever worked predominantly in Silent Hill games. We also spend considerable time exploring Farber's shop. It's a cluttered environment. We're constantly moving from these claustrophobic environments to more agoraphobic ones, with the staircases and corridors serving as creepy liminal spaces, where our character can be accosted by disembodied voices, which raises their fear levels. Running also causes your character's fear level to rise, and when your fear level gets too high, it can trigger a presence event, forcing you to slowly traverse the world and actually bathe in its atmosphere. But in the final sequence of the game, in the storage rooms, we're forced to think and move quickly. The previous rules of the game have gone out the window, as the presence chases us through the claustrophobic corridors. Very few of the area's doors serve as safe havens, and it requires the player to constantly have a sense of geography in an area with no unique landmarks. It's a sudden and exhilarating change of pace, but it works really well in the context of the game. The entire level builds up to it nicely. We should also talk about the other new character, Renee. Renee is a police officer, with a Don Quixote-esque view of law enforcement. Renee is also the only character besides Daniel that can carry over to episode 3 from this one, though why you'd want him to do is a mystery to me. Well, besides listening to his hilarious, terrified accent. He's somebody who does the right thing for its own sake, which honestly makes him by far the most uninteresting character we've played as so far. Post episode 3, he just kind of disappears, even if he survives. Like Alina in the first episode, Renee is something of a blue-collar hero, an ordinary guy thrust into a Lovecraftian nightmare, but his story doesn't have the same resonance as Alina, and this, I think, is due to his occupation. Renee is a cop. In theory, he has a duty to protect and serve, whereas Alina is an electrician, a civilian, who stays in the Husher mansion out of genuine concern for the family. Her sense of duty and morality exist outside of her occupation, and her graceful exit at the end of episode 1 makes far more sense, and is more reasonable, whereas Renee supposedly wants to help Daniel for episode 3, but I suppose suddenly loses interest in episode 4 and 5, with little to no explanation. In any case, the characters leave the shop in the end, and Daniel and company return the box to its supposed original owner, Ariadne Legrand.
Amsberg?
Oh yeah, sorry. Sebastian Hush's letter to Isaac Farber indicates that this worked for him, so Daniel does the same thing, hoping that it will cause the presence to subsist on its chase for him. Let's talk quickly about ghosts. In my initial run of Eerily Quiet, I failed over and over and over again, until I somehow had a flawless run with Etienne. Something that I experienced during my playthrough was encountering all of the characters in their ghostly forms. In Song of Horror, characters that have previously died return, but they're different, they're inconsolable. Their presences are sudden and overwhelming, and should you leave a room and return, they're gone. With the exception of Renee, who can do this. Dickhead. What exactly does the presence do with these people that it takes? Are they truly dead, or something else? If the presence takes Erica, when it attacks future characters, you can hear Erica's music playing in the background. Whatever this presence is, it doesn't just take people, but seemingly incorporates them into itself. Nevertheless, with Isaac Faber dead, and the box returned to Ariadne, there seems to be only one man left who could possibly help Daniel. Sebastian Husher, wherever he may be. I guess we'll find out next time.
Thanks for letting me sleep here.
Of course. Whatever you need. I'll even let you sleep on the couch.
It's more than enough. I just need a couple of nights. That will suffice. I don't feel like staying in an empty house after everything that's gone on.
You can stay as long as you want. Seriously.
Thanks.
At least I know you won't drink my wine.
Very funny. What? Hey, Sophie? Oh, no.
Daniel, are you all right?
That had not been a nightmare. I was awake. For certain. It was a hallucination. A hallucination like those described by Faber in his letter, shortly before hanging himself from a beam in his office. A hallucination. Or something worse. Much worse. Had it done any good to return the music box to its owner? Husher might have the answer, but his whereabouts was still unknown, and his trail seemed to have gone cold as the days passed by. Perhaps in his office, somewhere in his papers. Among the documents he was researching while delving into the box's origins. Maybe there would be some clue in there as to where he had gone, or what he had done. Something that would help us to follow his footsteps. I had to find Sebastian Husher, but this time, my life depended on it.